Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the episode. So, today's guest is Evan Rama. He is the co founder and CEO of Crash Market, creator of Cupid Dating, and honestly, one of the wildest younger co founder stories like I've ever seen. He started at UT Austin by walking around campus with a QR code trying to convince students to pull up to a dating show. And that show turned into packed lecture halls, college tours, viral clips, and eventually Crash Market live stream prediction market that he's now building. But the real story isn't just the numbers, it's the kid that once called himself average, felt the pressure of being the perfect brown kid, dropped out of UT, and chose the path that looked crazy before it looked smart. My guy Evan, welcome in, bro.
What's up, guys? What's up, Yash? I'm excited, man. That was a good intro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. When you hear all of that back, does it feel like you made it, or does it feel like you still have a lot more to go?
We still have a lot to go. I would say we're not even 50% of our full potential, like in just terms of the company and then what we can do in the future. But yeah, I mean, we're off to a good start. The first 50% was pretty hard, but yeah, now we're picking things up, so we're excited.
How was that process like though? When you first started everything, because a lot of businesses when they start, it's a very slow growth. And some people who do start businesses or even start content creation, they don't like that slow burn, that slow process. How was that for you and how did you deal with that slow process of it building up?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't making a dime, and we weren't really getting too much of like good news for about a year and a half, 2 years of building like the actual Cupid. Like we started with Cupid dating, and that turned into Crash Market. But really, what kept me going and not like having the feeling of quitting because we weren't getting money was just because it was so fun. Like I got to meet students every week. We got to travel to different universities, do these cool events, and just perform in front of 15,000 kids. So it was a lot of fun. I have a theater background, so I missed it.
Yeah. Oh, you have a theater background. Tell me more about it. Like, did you do that a lot as a kid?
I was a theater kid. Unfortunately, I did theater. I started in seventh grade, um, and did a couple, did a good amount of plays. Did a few lead roles in a couple of plays. And then I just lost my interest over the years, like senior year of high school, junior year of high school, just lost interest because I wasn't doing a lot of acting. And then these shows kind of brought my love for it back. So yeah.
Mhm. Hey, that's pretty cool. How did this correlate into you being a founder of all of these startups or the companies that you've made?
Yeah, I mean, I had no intention of turning this into like a real profitable business. Profitable business. I was kind of just going after maybe like getting on TV or getting some kind of gig in acting or some opportunity hitting me, even like a job. I was fine with that from the shows. And then I met my co-founders Parm and Lucas, and these guys come from like deep experience in like their fields. One, um, full stack senior engineer for 5 years out of college, and then the other guy, serial entrepreneur, has been building companies for a while. So those guys are the reason I kind of like shifted my focus on building like a profitable company.
Hmm. Hey, that's a pretty cool part about it. And because even I'm trying to start something, right? It's a very, very slow process of kind of getting to that stage.
It is, yeah.
But but as I realize, I think it's just time. It will just take time and you really putting in that hard work. Uh, and I also saw, I think one of your posts where you wrote, you described yourself as kind of average, where you had no crazy internships, average GPA, nothing very like super. And when you called yourself average, did it kind of hurt within where you really believed it, or was it because other people made you believe it?
I mean, it's like true, like average in terms of like all my stats, all my extracurriculars, even like the job offers I were getting at the time, everything was pretty average. And like when I say average, maybe like a 3.7 in college, 3.6. Um, got like one club acceptance, nothing flashy, nothing that was like standout for recruiters. So in my mind, it was the truth. I knew it was the truth. I wasn't going to try to convince myself otherwise. Um, But yeah, now we're doing not average things. So it's pretty cool where like quite literally anyone can do anything as long as they just like commit to one project long enough.
Hmm. Have you ever done, do you think it's better to do multiple things little by little by little, or actually put all of your focus all in one? How would that process work? And what would you tell other people who are trying to balance multiple things, but they have one serious passion that they really want to do?
I would say this. I think people like from what I see being in college for the last 3 years, a lot of my like entrepreneurial friends or just like even just regular students tend to do a lot of different things and maybe like do 20% to 50% effort in all of those things rather than like the full 110 on one project. And then that tends to you half-ass all those projects, nothing really comes out of it. You get a resume booster, maybe you put it on your LinkedIn, and then you move on to the next project. So you get nothing meaningful other than like a flashy title. And then the students that I do see commit pretty much all their time out of just doing the bare classes every single day. Those guys have gotten like six-figure job offers in college. A lot of them dropped out. I have a good amount of friends that have dropped out from UT specifically, from just committing to one project. And like even if it, like I have one friend specifically, he was not profitable on his startup, been doing it for 2 years, and he landed a six-figure. It was like a 180 job offer, 180K for growth, just from doing the company, just from being like, I guess like posting a lot and being flashy on that end. But yeah, I think that's the mistake most of these students do. They think recruiters or like anyone just likes a lot of experience rather than like one great experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I think for me, I'm also trying to do multiple things, right? Instead of actually giving one whole into a process, something that I'm really passionate about, such as doing my podcast or even content creation, for example. And I think I'm just trying to figure out where my focus is really trying to be at.
Right.
I think that's kind of the part where I really need to figure out.
No, and that's good. I think I did the same thing. I at the start did about 7 projects simultaneously as well to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. Um, but like yeah, I think as soon as you figure it out, you just go all in on that one project.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And but don't you also think maybe kind of doing these little things, you could kind of figure out what you're really passionate about?
That's
Like, yeah,
100% true.
sure.
Yeah.
That there may be like with this one big project where you really want to go through, but even doing these little things, don't you really think that maybe you could find some other interests?
I think that's true. I like freshman year, I had 2 startups I was working on. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to do all these like just little things to kind of feel what my true passions and dreams were, and they all helped get to like help. They helped us get to the national tour level and doing all these like live shows for Cupid. But like as soon as you can do as many things as you want, but as soon as you like realize or come to the realization what you want to do, drop all the small projects and then just go on one.
Mm.
If you like really want to make waves and make a lot of money or get a lot of attention, whatever it is.
Did that influence you to drop out of UT and actually go all in on your startups?
UT people don't know this. They think it's like a stupid risk because you like Indian kid dropped out from
Yeah.
a good business school for a dating show at the time. That was like the headline that I was seeing on all these platforms, or like hearing from people. But these guys don't know. Like I got a few six-figure job offers from a couple startups prior. And this was in August, 6 months before I dropped. To me, there was like no risk. Either the startup works or it doesn't work. I have enough experience to just go back and get another offer, and then just go full time. So I there was no risk for me.
Damn. Damn, that's actually that wow. Yeah, 'cause it's just like sure you drop out of uni, so you didn't have like any type of plan B. You're just like it's either all in on this or like I already have offers, right? Did you have any plans of going back to UT or not?
My parents really want me. They still want me to go back if this
I mean,
fails.
yeah.
But I mean, we had $2,000 at the time I dropped out.
Hmm.
We were just all very confident that this would work out. And yeah, I mean, like I said, if it didn't work out, the worst case scenario is, oh darn, I have to go work at a startup and make six figures, 100K a year. I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. So I wasn't like upset or anything.
Yeah, yeah. You were talking about your parents. They really wanted you to have a degree. I mean, I'm brown, you're brown, right?
Yeah.
Like we all know about it. It's all about that degree, the grades, whatever they want. And it's like when you were growing up, did your parents really want you to have that university offer? And how did they react when you first told them that you're gonna drop out of UT?
They their goal or like their dream, even like my grandparents' dream, is for all their grandchildren and then like my parents, like all their children to get a degree in college. And out of the 30 cousins or 20 cousins I have, I think I'm the only one who is not going to get a college degree. Um, but like right when I dropped out and told them, they were furious. At least my dad was furious. My mom didn't really give a shit
Yeah.
too much because she like saw, oh, you can just always go back. But my dad was pissed. It took him about a month or two after he saw that we raised our round. I think he's kind of started to believe fully that this can work out.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. What would you tell the other kids that, or like other people, other students that are trying to start something like startups, creating something, and maybe even potentially going all in, such as in maybe dropping out, which obviously they don't have to, but if they have those ideas, how should they kind of go about it? Like, what are the steps? Have a backup plan. Like, for example, have a backup plan. Do you know what you're really getting yourself into? Like things like these. What are some things you should kind of prepare yourself for if you do go that route?
I really think if you like on the startup side at least, if you have a good team, like people that you think like when I say good team, people who will work 8+ hours every single day on the project. And then if you have that, and then even if you've raised a little bit of capital, I think you can pull the plug and like even take a gap semester. I think that's low risk. You can always go back, and you missed out on a semester less for graduating. But yeah, I think if you raise even like 50 grand, you have a good team, go ahead and pull the trigger, take the little risk. Could turn out big. If it doesn't, then you really don't lose anything. But yeah, for your question on like, should you have a backup plan? I mean, I kind of had a backup plan, but in my mind, like, I didn't really know what was gonna happen. I kind of just like to live every single day, and then, wake up. Maybe I lose all my money, and then that's a problem for that day, and just try to figure it out then.
Yeah, yeah. And you saying just kind of living on that day, right? I think a lot of people, they don't live on that day, taking that risk. I feel like they think too much about the past, things they've done wrong, things where they could have fixed, right? They regret stuff, or they look too much in the future. They're like, what if this happens? Oh, what if I don't get that offer? Things like that. A lot of people, they struggle with that. Have you ever struggled with that yourself?
I definitely did freshman sophomore year. I mean, it just takes time when like it really just takes taking small risk at a time and then like, slowly going up, taking bigger risk. But the more risk you take, the more you realize that there's really no risk, like no true risk. Like if you pull the trigger, drop out, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna make 30K a year if you decide not to go back to college. You can pretty like people don't realize you can actually like the average Joe can get a six-figure job right now if he really wanted to from just 6 months of posting on LinkedIn. I know it's the cringiest and stupidest shit on the planet. People are gonna bash me for this, but like I know kids like even high schoolers who just like ghost write on LinkedIn, the dumbest shit, and kind of like how I did it, and they were getting pulled 60 to 80K offers for just like go to market from that. Like there's unlimited money. There's no risk. There really isn't. You can get any job you want.
Hmm. Absolutely. And going to that LinkedIn posting, the creation, all of that part, how did that start? Like, did you just one day decide, you know what, let me just post whatever's on my mind? Because I can't lie, yo, LinkedIn. there's just robots, right? There's just
That
bots.
is,
Hey guys, today I've learned about this, this, and this. This is what I'm doing. I'm just like, bro, come on now, do something else rather than that, right? Did you ever had that phase, or how did you kind of just go like, you know what? I don't really care. I'm just gonna post what I want.
um, first, so my co-founder actually he forced me to do it. He was like, if you do this, we'll get funding. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do whatever to get funding. So last summer, I did the first few, and I genuinely think we have an interesting story. Like, it's not every day that you can go on a national tour and do all these cool things. We have all this cool B-roll and photos to show and flash. I thought that was like, going to get some respect. But at the beginning, it was considered like the stupidest shit on the planet. We're getting bashed for it every day. Um, and then I was like, okay, at a point, I think like August or like July, I just started like doing the most like stupid posts, very
Yeah.
cringe, no sense. It was like rage bait to just get followers and like
Yeah,
get
yeah,
eyes on
yeah,
it. And it worked. Got a couple offers through that, and then I kind of made the shift. Now I think I personally think my stuff's less cringe now, and more like you can learn from it or like I could take calls from it. But yeah, I think anyone should. I think everyone should just post whatever they have. I don't
yeah,
think it hurts that much. Yeah.
yeah. Like, bro. To be fair, I do think LinkedIn is good to a point, right? But I feel like also comparison comes from LinkedIn too, right? Me personally, I've felt that way. I just see other people doing all these things. I'm just like, what am I doing? And the comparison part, it really messes with your head, right? So I don't know what you
The
would
thing
say about
I
that.
didn't realize though, Yash, was like so many people on this platform, and we've like we all will do it. I've even slightly done it. Everyone lies about their numbers. It's like 10x. Whatever you see on a like a LinkedIn
Yeah,
post, it's always bullshit. Every single time it's bullshit.
yeah. But honestly, now that I think about it, you're kind of right. There are a lot of LARPs. There are a
There's really
lot of
only
LARPs.
1% on that platform that actually like whatever they write, they actually have
Mhm.
gotten, and the rest are just it's fake numbers, bullshit. I know people who have like said on their LinkedIn they got into Harvard. Um,
Yeah.
they never got into Harvard. They're just a dropout, and they raise money off of that, and they just like to LARP and make themselves look like very professional and smart. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, you think LARPing is the way to go?
I think everyone should slightly do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not like to
absolutely.
the extent where like you say you got
Yeah,
into like this school or this job. I think like if you get like $1 million in revenue, maybe say like 1.5. I don't think that's a problem. Things like
yeah,
that. Or like 10,000 users,
yeah.
you got 20,000. You know,
Fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do in my resume too from now on.
It's the route. It's
Yeah,
the route.
bro. Yeah, and going back to the confident part, I wanted to ask you, were you always a confident person ever since you were a kid, or did it just come from you actually putting yourself out there?
It was a mix of like theater definitely helped in high school and then like early college. I was willing to do like more, I guess like stunts and like just put myself out there. I wasn't really too embarrassed just because of that theater background. And then still was embarrassed. Like I did this gesture stunt in freshman year. Was embarrassed about doing that. Did a few other things sophomore year. Still embarrassed. Confidence wasn't the highest. It was just like a matter of doing it for so long, where like I'm at a point where I really don't give too much of a shit. Sometimes like some comments get to me, but uh, yeah, it's not too bad now. I think I can pretty much. I'm willing to do anything.
It's funny too. It's just thinking about that because like Indian people, they get a lot of discrimination. Now I'm not saying other people don't, right? It's just you gotta kind of work your way around it and really just adapt to the world around you, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, unfortunately, like the only way you can get them off your back, and like it doesn't even like they'll still be on your back, but throughout the whole process of just like losing, or like kind of like not like in their minds from doing the shows, they didn't see us getting money. It was really just for shits and giggles. They thought it was just all for fun, wasting my time. So they're gonna make fun of you, bash you online, do all this shit until you like raise a lot of money or until the company's worth X amount of dollars, and then they'll start taking you seriously. So That's the only negative part, but like once you get to that final stage, then like everyone kind of gets off your back. That's what I've seen recently.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's kind of with everything too, right? Literally, a lot of people they like to clown you on the things that you first start doing. Then after that, they see all the money that you're raising. They're like, yo, this guy's actually doing it, and they're
Exactly.
like, yo, I support you. I've been supporting you since day one. I'm like, what? Right?
That's spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. Has that happened multiple times to you?
But it happens all the time. We've had people reach out for sweet jobs, growth that kind of like not like made fun of us, but like made fun of us, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore year when we were doing all the stunts. But yeah, I mean, looking at it, I would make fun of me too. From the first 3 years doing like all this stupid shit. I would make fun of me too, so I don't blame them too much.
So you would kind of say embarrassment is something you gotta work through before actually making a proper breakthrough within whatever you're trying to do.
Exactly. Embarrassment is the way to win. If you're willing to do like anything, like bark on the floor. I know it's like people say you're selling yourself. Like I made out with a guy for money for investment money, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're selling yourself," but like that embarrassing shit moves the needle for our company, and it like gets me one step closer to whatever goals we have. Um, I really just don't give a shit. I'll take the comments online and the embarrassment to like win in life. If you say.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when I first even started my kind of content creation page, right? Or even just starting a pod, right? I honestly had a lot of embarrassment. I was just like, yo, in some episodes I'm just I don't even know what I'm talking about, right? Because there wasn't really much of a structure to it. And then honestly, I don't think there's a need to have a structure. I just like kind of having a natural conversation. I just ask them one question, I just go about it, right? Um, but I think after a while, you just stop giving a shit about what other people think. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. You could keep judging, you could keep doing whatever you're doing. I could care less, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah,
No, that was beautifully put.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at some point, you gotta realize it's your own life. You gotta stop letting other people kind of get to your head. Sure, at some moments it will happen, right? But it's about how you're going to take it. Like, are you really going to take that personally and really affect your workflow because of what one or two haters have said, right? And I think that's kind of gotten to me at some moments. Have you ever gotten that part where even like one or two haters that just said, "Yo, I hate the type of things you're doing. I don't like whatever, whatever," right? Has that gone into your head before?
Man, I've gotten 1,000 over the years. We've gotten thrown lawsuits.
Oh
I was
shit.
assaulted. Um, we've been literally like to our face. This is the stupidest shit ever. Like, we get everything at this point. Uh, get a lot of accusations. It just happens. You see like a new news article or like some new Reddit post, some Instagram,
Mhm.
some yik yak. You see something every single day you wake up for like this industry that we're doing. It's like gambling and dating, the two things like Indians like despise, I guess in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and like dropping out to like those three things, cherry on top.
Mhm.
But the sad thing is, like at least for like the brown people, I have a lot of brown friends, so the ones that start posting or like start building whatever company they do and they start building in public, um, they get that first hate comment or something and then they just quit. It's so sad. You like it was a good idea. They had a team and then they just quit because of the few comments. Um, and they never got to see it out. So I just think there's a lot of people who build things that have so much potential, and you just will never see the story because that like online comment uh, kind of shut them down.
Yeah. Do you think it's because they want that attention, or is just they really have pure hatred or just like actual jealousy towards other people that have success? Is that like a quite often thing that you see around you in your life?
I think it's because I'm brown and we're doing like rated R comedy shows in like a niche that's not really, I guess, respected in the brown community. To people in people's eyes, they're like, "Oh, you're exploiting brown people. You're putting them on stage. You're making them do all these crazy stunts." And I'm like, I casted them. They volunteered. They wanted to do it, and I tell them what they're getting themselves in, like what they're getting involved in, and they still do it. And then they get upset with me, right? And then they're like, "Evan, you're doing this. You're doing that." It's all volunteer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if it's. I don't think it's jealousy. I don't think these guys are like would want to like do these shows, but I just think like it's in their heads. Like it's not that
Mm-hmm.
deep. It really isn't that deep. It's just in their heads, and they're like, "I'll hate on anyone who's like, I guess, getting some attention at the time." I don't know.
Mm-hmm. True, true, true. Are you looking to build a legacy? Do you really want like you want your name to just be there forever? Are you trying to build a legacy?
I don't really care too much about like my name being in like a book or a lot of people knowing about us or anything. I really like my plan, and I think my co-founder's on the same page. I just want to build a company, sell it, build, sell, build a new one, sell, um, and then go to another country, get a nice house, retire, move on with my life. That's really all I want. Maybe get a dog, some a beautiful wife, beautiful children, and that's all I need. That's all I need.
Hey, fair enough. I mean, yeah, honestly that's kind of the goal. Just like make the money, right? Move out, get a beautiful wife, kids, just like chill. You know,
That's all
that
you
that's
need.
kind of that's kind of what I want to do too. I don't like this corporate lifestyle if I'm being honest. Like right now I'm working in corporate as a finance intern. Um, I hate it.
I don't know
If
how
I'm
you
being
guys do it. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it. It just looks so like boring. Like you just sit there and rinse and
Yep.
repeat.
Let me be completely blunt with you. I don't like it at all. You're doing it's not the same thing every day, but you're just kind of listening to other people boss you around, and I don't really like it, and you have to take shit sometimes, right? I mean, like, look, don't get me wrong. Some people, they're fine with it, right? They're fine with the corporate lifestyle. They're fine with working for like the next 20, 30 years. And yeah, that's fine. That's completely cool if you're cool with that. But there's some people like you, right? I just can't work a corporate lifestyle. It's just not for me. I'm trying to figure something out for myself where I don't have to work like this again.
Startups are very fun. I will tell you
Yeah.
that. Um, if I had to like, if I wasn't doing like this entrepreneurial stuff, just even like working finance at a startup is so much. It's like 10 times better than corporate from what I've heard. I've never done it, um, but just like for my friends doing it at startups, they genuinely love it because you're like working close with the CEO. Um, you get a good amount of breaks. You get to travel a lot. You get to kind of experiment with everything, not just finance, not just stuck on one role, and you get a new task every day. So, um, yeah, I think I don't know. I would take the startup. I would take the startup route in
That's
any.
that's kind of the route. That's kind of the route that I'm trying to take. My boy, he put me on to VCs, YC, all those things, right? And it's honestly very interesting. Sure, it's a shit ton of work, right? But it's just something about it where you're doing a bunch of things. You're not stagnant at one position. You're actually doing a lot more than you think you're going to be doing, which is kind of what I want to do. It seems fun. Yeah, sure, it might be stressed out at times, but it sounds weird, but I kind of like the stress, right? I don't know if that sounds weird.
No, no, no. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think it's just something within me. I just kind of want that type of stress where I'm doing the different things rather than being stuck at one position and being stressed out what my other coworkers or my supervisor might think of me, right?
Exactly. And yeah, like there's a difference corporate stress and then like startup stress. At least startup stress, your job is so crucial because it's a lean team and whatever moves you make actually move the needle for the company. And then like if you're in corporate, you're just like one of 500 financial analysts. So it's like if you make a mistake or if you do something right, you don't like feel the impact.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously. I like the thing that I'm trying to build right now, right? It's been delayed for like they've been working on a project, but it's been delayed for so long now. And I feel like the thing that I'm trying to build for them, the same thing's gonna happen. I hope not, because I'm actually trying to help them. Like some of my coworkers, they're chill, right? And I'm actually trying to help them with the thing that I'm making. But with the way corporate's kind of working right now, and from what I'm seeing, I feel like this also might get delayed unless I actually have a proper pitch, right? I just kind of have to sell myself or like sell the thing that I made in a way where they just can't refuse. But I know that I'm going to receive a lot of pushback, especially from these programmers or these other guys. Have you ever received any pushback within your startups or things like that? And how did you deal with it?
We get a lot of pushback. We get accepted into Accelerator. We're working out of Monad in New York City, and it's not really pushback. It's more like these guys are looking out for us, giving us the right advice, like being mentors and steering us in the right direction. But like certain ideas that we may have, even the public eye, we get pushback on investors here and there, advisors. Um, but like sometimes we just ignore them all and then just do what we want. And then if it ends up like coming and biting us in the ass later on, then we just take the mistake and learn from there. Um, and then sometimes we genuinely take the advice. But like I don't think it's like in the startup scene, it's not we don't get too much pushback. We get all the freedom to just do whatever we want. Um, but yeah, I can see how it's a problem in corporate. There's nothing you can really, I guess, do if you don't obey, then you're like booted. They'll just boot you out, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that's kind of how it is. And honestly, what can you even really do about it? At the end of the day, you in corporate especially, you kind of just have to take it. You have to take the bashing, but I feel like I'm also kind of at the stage where I'm just like, yo, like, look, yeah, sure, you may be my senior or supervisor, but I'm not going to take shit from you, right? I'm going to set my boundaries because I did that, right? At one point I was just like, okay, look, listen, what you're saying right here that I'm not doing enough work is completely false. I have the proof, I have the receipts of the things that I've created, and it's to help you guys. If you don't want me to make something that's not gonna help you, I'm not gonna do it. At one point, I was just like, yo, either tell me you want this or don't, right? Like,
That's
I
insane.
genuinely had enough.
Wow, that's crazy. I have a few friends with similar stories. It's just it's mind-boggling. I don't really understand how it all works.
Yeah. Hey, what at the stage you're at and at the process, the things that you're creating, especially at the age you're at, right? It's very, very mind-blowing because a lot of people my age, your age, we kind of have that mindset. We need a corporate job. We need to work our ass off a lot to make enough money to even support our family. And the things that you're doing, even taking a risk, it's very admirable, right? Like genuinely, it's very admirable. You, seeing other students taking that risk is just like, how can I do the same? How can I take that same type of risk, put myself out there and actually do it, right? What would you tell people who are too afraid to take that risk?
I mean, there's not like it's all in everyone's head. It's yourself holding you back. You can technically do whatever you want. There's no one telling you that you have to go to school or, you know, like do whatever. Um, when you come to the realization that there's truly no risk, it's just all in your mind, and you'll be okay in life no matter what happens. Then you'll be able to take more risk. And it helped me by surrounding myself with big risk takers as well. Um, at the start, I'll admit to this too. I was taking like smaller risk or like things that wouldn't really move the needle, or sometimes I'd hold back on certain things just because I thought it would truly affect my life. But then like after surrounding myself with the right group, people who take risk on a daily basis, and have experience with that, I kind of just follow their lead, and it's worked out pretty well. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Has there been like a moment in your building, the startup scene, where you took a risk and you're proud of that risk, or was there a sacrifice that you had to do and you're just like, shit, I really wish I didn't really do that.
I mean, freshman year, everyone is like in the zone of, or like in that mode of applying to a lot of clubs, and like I guess like a not a rumor, I don't know what the word is, but something that all UT freshmen, at least for my school, if you don't apply to any orgs your freshman year and you don't get into any, then you're fucked sophomore year. It's kind of like jobs. If you don't get a job or an internship all of college, you're not going to get a job out of college. It's going to be impossible. Same thing with clubs. You don't get one freshman year, you're not getting one sophomore year, which means you're not getting one junior year, and then you just don't get one. So freshman year, I didn't apply to a single club. I was like, okay, you know what? I just don't care. I'm gonna make my own, and I'm just gonna stick this costume on, and I'm gonna go do the stupidest shit ever and hope something comes out of it. I think that was a pretty big risk because if it didn't work out or if like no one showed up to our first show, then I'm pretty much like in a big hole. And then another one like I'm really proud of. I think the dropout one's pretty grand just because a lot of people were like at least close family too, were like this is the stupidest shit you could do. College is paid for, why your rent's
Yeah.
paid for, your food's paid for. Why drop out when everything's paid for? And a lot of kids have to pay for their own education. You're like privileged, right? So I'm proud of that one because like it's working out pretty well now.
Hey, that's exactly kind of the mindset to have, right? Like the the pace that you're at right now, it's good. And I feel like the things learned at this stage too is going to take you very far. Yes, you still have many other years to make mistakes, learn from the mistakes, and actually just grow from it. And I think a lot of students don't be afraid of making mistakes. I think a lot of people they're afraid of making mistakes. I, for example, I've made a lot of mistakes from the ages when I was 17 to now. I've made dumb, stupid shit type of mistakes, right? And obviously, I'm not really proud of it, but if it weren't for those mistakes, I wouldn't be the person I am now. I probably wouldn't
Exactly.
even have done this podcast. I probably wouldn't even have DM'd you, right? And it's because of the things I've done, which built my confidence into the person I am now, and I'm building things for myself because of those mistakes, right? So I think you should make that mistake rather than being too scared of it.
Exactly. Perfectly said. Yeah, not enough people, especially in college, don't put themselves out there, don't try to take a risk, which means they won't make any mistakes. They try to be perfect and kind of just follow the same route that everyone does. Apply to the orgs, apply to these jobs, and then you're safe. Um, but yeah, just it never. And then they question. They're like, how do I get out of this bubble? And then they have regrets when they are in corporate or wherever they are. So yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. They think success builds a person. No, that's completely false. It's the mistakes that you make that really build you rather than, right?
Could not agree more. I made more mistakes than I think anyone in the history of the world has made from like an early age too. So I totally get you.
Yeah. In the so I read the Gita, right? I'm a pretty religious person myself. And one of the quotes it says, "Don't be focused on the results, focus on your work." Have you ever been attached to the outcome of the things that you're building? If so, how was that like? Did it affect you in any way? Or were you more so just like, let me just work my way to the goal. Let's see what happens. And if I get it, I get it. If I don't, then I know what I know not to do next time.
I honestly, this is a good question. So for our company, I do the growth and distribution. So like as a marketer, I am like addicted to the metrics. I always check my phone for like, the view count. Um, and I just can't get that out of my mind. Even today, I still like really any stunt we try or any amount of money that we spend, we see like how many users we got or how many views we got. Um, I think that's a good thing though. I think you should kind of like be obsessed with trying to get from like 1,000 views to 10K views, quite literally doing anything, changing the title. I've done trial reels, put 15 trial reels out because I got 1,000 views on a video. Um, and then like just seeing which video does the best and just pushing it out. Um, I think more people should be obsessed with the metrics and kind of like that end goal rather than, oh, I'll just see where this takes me.
Hmm. But don't you think sometimes it would it has like a little bit of a negative push to you though? Because I know when you're kind of obsessed to the metrics, how many views, how many likes I'm getting, won't you think that kind of screws with your mental?
I mean, from my point of view, like I see creators with 1 million plus followers or getting this amount of views. I see this startup doing 100 million views this month, 10,000 users, whatever, right? 100 million MRR, or sorry, 100 million ARR, just like random metrics. And that sticks in my mind. I'm like, fuck, our company doesn't have that shit. We don't have this. I need to get those numbers now. So I think it's unhealthy, but I think it's healthy at the same time. I think it's like the right mix. I think you want like those like psychopaths on your team who will quite literally do anything to get that metric to make your company successful or whatever you're doing in life.
Hmm. I see what you're saying, but don't you think comparison sometimes takes away that joy of building?
Comparison's great. If you're, I don't think like I had joy and I was still comparing myself to everyone, but I think comparison's great because if you're not like if you don't have like the top dog that you're looking up to and you're like trying to beat, um, then your startup's not gonna make it. If you're not trying to compete for the top, you're not gonna make it. It's less about joy, like the joy of the building the startup, and more of trying to get to the end point, or like trying to compete with the top guys, and then you'll have the joy when you make it there.
Yeah, yeah. I think that type of comparison is good. Like comparing in a sense like, yo, I want to be the best, right? Like I want my startup to be up there and dominating that field. I think that type of comparison is the best. But comparing as in sense like human to human. This person has this, I don't have that. Why don't I have that? Wouldn't that kind of have a negative effect on the person that you are?
I do it to this day, and I still compare myself to people, or I used to a lot, and I think it helped us get here just because, like, I'm gonna do like, what's a good example? I'm just gonna say money, for example. I met this guy freshman year. He had $100,000 stock portfolio, and I met him at a Halloween party at UT Austin on 6th Street. I still remember this day, and I was so jealous. I was upset. I didn't even want to like I was in charge of like the tickets or whatever for the
Yeah.
party. It was our Cupid party, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind. I was like, I want that shit. This man has a nice watch on. He's a good looking dude. He's got a good fit. He's got a nice car, and he's 20 years old. I want that. Um, so then I was like, okay, how am I gonna get this? Because I want to beat this man and I want to be better than him. Um, how do I get this? Because I'm very jealous, and got the plan, executed the plan, and now we're closer. So
That's a
I think
yeah.
like people are gonna be like, oh, don't compare yourself to like people, even like just regular people, even if it's about looks or
Yeah.
whatever. I think you should, just because like it'll be toxic and your like mental will be like will go down. But then like it'll at least push you to like,
Hmm.
try to be more attractive than that person or
Hmm.
uh kind of beat them at whatever they're doing.
That's an interesting way to look at it, to be honest. I've never really looked at it that way. A lot of people also don't look at it that way, and you're kind of the first person that's kind of said it that way, and I'm just like, okay, it's a very interesting way to look at it, and the way you described it, it kind of makes sense to me, right? Um, but for me personally, I just kind of I compare myself in a sense where it's like, yes, this person has that, but I don't compare myself in like a sense of um like I need that, right? I'm just like it would be fine to get those things, but it's just like I want to kind of enjoy that process of building up to it rather than okay, I'm very close to this person now since I have this person has this car, I'm gonna get that car now. And I think for me, that's kind of the way I go about it. And obviously, if that's been working for you, then yes, that's completely fine. I think that's what a lot of people they should take some of the advice that they get from other person with like a grain of salt, right? Some things may work for me, it may not work for you. Same thing for you, right? As some things may work for you, it may not work for the other person. And that's what I try to tell people. Whatever I say in this podcast, whatever my guests say in this podcast, learn from it, try to implement it. If it doesn't work, try to make it in a way where it will work for you.
Exactly, exactly. And for this like specific example, I think 90% of people should ignore my advice on that one. Um, you said it perfectly. Take everyone's advice with a grain of salt. And if you like take everyone's advice to heart, um, no chance you make it. We wouldn't be
Yeah.
here if we took every advice. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Cause yo, there are a shit ton of people that I know. They're like, oh yeah, David Goggins said this on. Bro, you're not no David Goggins.
Yeah.
Relax, bro. I was just like, bro, chill. You're your own person. Stop trying to be you, right? It's okay to have
Exactly.
like somebody to like look up to, but
Yeah, like
at
a
the end of
mentor.
the day, you're your own person. You know what I mean? These people have went through different struggles than you have, or the things that you may be going through, and you can't really compare yourself in that sort of sense. So that's why it's just like chill a little bit, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Spot on. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Let me ask you one last question. I want to ask you what is your meaning of life?
My meaning of life. Ooh, that's a good question.
Of course, you're this age right now, right? Like you're not gonna have everything figured out, and it may change over the years. But like as of right now, what is that meaning of life?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a tough question. Eh?
It is a tough question. I have not thought about that. That's a really good question. I kind of just, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I just wake up and I do my work. I laugh with my friends, and I go to bed. And I mean that brings me joy, and that's enough to kind of like that's fulfilling enough for me. Um, but I don't have like I guess like
You
a
don't have a direct
specific
answer.
answer. I really
Hmm.
don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's
Yeah.
something I should think about. Yeah. What would you say for yours?
For me, it's definitely a tough answer, but I've thought about this a lot. For me, as of right now, currently, ever since I started the content creation or I started the podcast to bring on other people, give advice to other students that are my age who struggle with things such as mental health or even trying to build themselves or build a personal brand. I kind of want to portray myself as a person that wants to help others. A lot of people think I'm a LARP for some reason, right? Because they see me and I'm always kind of like in this enthusiastic kind of phase even when some days I don't feel like the best, right? I'm still happy. I'm still trying to be that liaison of just that positive type of energy, you know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know why some people think I'm a LARP just because I like to be happy, but it's something where I just want to be the kindest person where I help other people and build things that will obviously help my family be financially free because my family's worked very hard to put me in the position that I'm at right now, right? My brother, my mother, my father, they've worked very hard in their life. Um, and I really just kind of want to give back in sort of a sense, but that's kind of my meaning of life for now, right?
I love that. I love that. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
answer.
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, once again, Evan, thank you very much for coming on, bro. You took your time out of your day. I learned quite a lot, honestly. And like it's not the typical answer I hear. A lot of people, they have a little bit of the same answer. Obviously, they have their own tweaks, but this episode, it was just like it was very unique in all sorts of answers that you gave me. So I really appreciate you for coming on, bro.
No, for sure. I mean, I'll tell you this, Yash. I'm not even bullshitting you on this one. I'm not just trying to like gas you up. Best podcast I've been on. Best questions. I like the format. It was great.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Once again, thank you very much for coming on.